Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with A Trumpet for My People. Today is February 24th, 2021, and we're watching March 5th and March 6th, which is connected to the 1260 days from the Revelation 12 sign. It is also connected to asteroid Apophis, closest approach to Earth before the closer Passover, which will happen in 2029. So there is a great sign in the heaven on March 5th and March 6th, connected to the 1260 days from the Revelation 12 sign. And as we're looking at a lot of different information connecting us to this time frame, we can see that there is another conjunction on March 5th in Capricorn. It's the conjunction of Mercury and Jupiter in the constellation of Capricorn on March 5th and March 6th. Okay? Now, so another aspect of what we're watching is this very interesting detail that from March 6th, 2021, if we go back 75 days, it brings us to the Great Conjunction. This is a very interesting biblical connection based on the 1260 days and the 1335 days. There's a 75-day difference. And so from the Great Conjunction of December 21st, 2020, there's 75 days, taking us to March 6th. So this got me curious, and I wanted to search back from the Great Conjunction 1260 days and see if anything significant happened, especially anything significant connected to the planet Jupiter. And so this is an amazing piece of information here that 1260 days before the Great Conjunction is July 10th, 2017. Did anything significant happen with the planet Jupiter? One of the most important photographs that they have ever gotten, the closest raw map projected image of Jupiter, of the great red spot, was taken on July 10th, 2017. July 10th, 2017. This connection, very important connection to Jupiter, the most important and the closest and the first processed raw map projected images of Jupiter's great red spot. This was taken on July 10th, 2017. From there, the Jupiter connection taking us 1260 days to the Great Conjunction, okay, of December 21st, 2020, December 21st, 2020, the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn on the winter solstice of 2020. And then we go from the Great Conjunction on December 21st, we had 75 days, which brings us to March 6th. So from this image that was taken on July 10th, 2017, going forward 1260 days brings us to the Great Conjunction, and bringing us forward another 75 days brings us to March 6th. And this is day 1335 from this photograph that they took. But then from the Revelation 12 sign, which was the key day and everything else, and biblical understanding in the Feast of Trumpets, and according to the book of Revelation, 1260 days are given for the woman to be taken into the wilderness from this great wonder that is seen in heaven. Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 through verse 6, you'll see the 1260 days that are given from this great sign. And so this great sign on September 23rd, 2017, adding 1260 days, also brings us to March 6th. Then we add into this the fact that if you start searching about Apophis in March 6th, okay, they are now conspiracy theorists all around the world saying that the world is going to end on March 6th. This is one random picture I took, but if you go and do a search for yourself, March 6th, Apophis, what will you find on YouTube? And now the videos are starting to come out, these conspiracy theorists, about the possibility of the world ending on March 6th. And we have this connection to asteroid Apophis. And beyond all that, I wanted to show you that on March 5th and 6th, in the constellation of Capricorn, we do have a connection between Jupiter and Mercury. Now, let me share with you a very important passage of Scripture from the book of Acts. So I wanted to show you that in the book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 12, there is a very important revelation about Jupiter and Mercury together. And they called Barnabas Jupiter, and Paul they called Mercurius, Mercury, because he was the chief speaker. They called Barnabas Jupiter, and Paul they called Mercury, because he was the chief speaker. Paul and Barnabas, Jupiter and Mercury, the chief speaker being Mercury. Paul is the chief speaker. They called him Mercury because Mercury is the messenger planet. Okay. This is a biblical revelation from the book of Acts. Jupiter and Mercury being together. Barnabas was called Jupiter. Paul was called Mercury because he was the chief. Do you understand what the Bible is showing us? Jupiter and Mercury together. And Mercury being the chief speaker, the witness, the messenger, the one who goes before and speaks, the main speaker. This is the messenger planet together with Jupiter on March 5th and March 6th. They called Barnabas Jupiter, and Paul they called Mercury because he was the chief speaker. Okay? So, I just wanted to make some connections for you guys. There's biblical revelations happening. And there's revelations from what they are showing from the 1260 days before the Great Conjunction of this great photo that they took of the red spot, the giant spot on the planet of Jupiter was taken exactly 1260 days before the Great Conjunction of December 21st. And day 1335 from that photograph is March 6th. And there's this biblical revelation about Jupiter and Mercury being together. Paul and Barnabas, the two witnesses. Are you hearing me? The two witnesses, okay. the two chief speakers, the two chief apostles, Paul and Barnabas. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, there's a lot to consider here. The Lord is revealing so many things right now. Let us stay ready. I pray you guys are blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.